What do FBI hostage negotiations and your next job interview have in common? A lot more than you think. Welcome to this in-depth video summary of Never Split the Difference by former FBI negotiator Chris Voss. This book completely transforms how we think about negotiation. Instead of traditional tactics like compromise or finding a middle ground, Chris Voss teaches us how to truly listen, understand, and influence others, even in high-pressure situations. Whether you're talking salary at work, discussing contracts in business, or even trying to convince your child to go to bed on time, these principles apply. In this summary, you'll learn the mindset and strategies used by top FBI negotiators and how to apply them to everyday situations. If you're ready to become a master negotiator in any area of your life, stay tuned. Chris Voss isn't just any author. He's a former FBI lead international hostage negotiator. That means he negotiated in situations where lives were literally on the line. Imagine negotiating with terrorists, kidnappers, or criminals holding hostages. These weren't hypothetical or theoretical exercises. This was real life. Chris had to develop techniques that worked under extreme pressure. And they did. He successfully resolved countless crises. After retiring from the FBI, he took these same negotiation strategies and applied them to the business world. From boardrooms to sales meetings to everyday conversations, he began teaching others how to gain the upper hand without aggression or manipulation. That's what this book is all about, giving you the confidence and tools to handle negotiations calmly, wisely, and effectively. Most people think negotiations are about meeting in the middle. They think compromise is the key to success. But Chris Voss challenges that idea completely. He says when you compromise, when you split the difference, both sides lose something. Instead, the real goal should be to connect with the other person emotionally. That's where tactical empathy comes in. Rather than pushing your point of view, Voss teaches you to listen carefully, read emotional cues, and respond strategically. When you make someone feel understood, you gain influence. It's not about manipulation. It's about understanding how people work. In high-stakes scenarios, compromise can be deadly. In everyday life, it can mean giving up too much. Voss shows us how to aim for better outcomes without sacrificing relationships. Whether in a salary negotiation, a customer complaint, or a tense meeting, this approach can change the game. That's the core message of the book. Don't aim to win a tug of war. Learn to guide the rope. Let's talk about one of the book's most powerful ideas: tactical empathy. Tactical empathy means recognizing and understanding the emotions and mindset of the person you're dealing with, then using that understanding to build a bridge between you. You don't have to agree with their point of view, but you do need to acknowledge it. This technique builds trust and reduces resistance. How do you do it? First, listen. Really listen to what they're saying. Repeat their words back to them. Mirror their language. Then, label what they might be feeling. Say things like, "It seems like you're frustrated," or "It sounds like you're worried about the timeline." When you do this, people feel heard, and that makes them more willing to work with you. Tactical empathy turns you from an opponent into an ally. It's a key to breaking down walls and building collaboration, even in conflict. People don't want to be solved. They want to be seen. Tactical empathy gives them that. In most negotiations, people aim for a yes. But Chris Voss says the real power comes when you embrace the word no. Why? Because when someone says no, they feel safe, they feel in control, and that opens the door for real conversation. Think about it. How often have you said yes just to get someone to leave you alone? But when you say no, it's usually because you're actually thinking. Voss teaches us to stop fearing rejection. Instead, we should invite it. Start with questions like, "Is now a bad time to talk?" Or, "Would it be ridiculous for me to ask for?" These questions make the other person feel respected and relaxed. Once they say no, you can start negotiating with their full attention and engagement. It's a psychological reset that works better than forcing a fake yes. When people say no, they lower their defenses. Now you can have a real conversation. Voss reminds us, no is not the end of negotiation. It's the beginning. Two of the simplest yet most powerful tools Chris Voss shares are mirroring and labeling. Mirroring is when you repeat the last few words your counterpart said with a questioning tone. It's a psychological trick that gets them to expand and explain further. For example, if they say, "This price is too high," you respond with, "Too high?" It shows you're listening and encourages them to talk more. Labeling, on the other hand, is when you name the emotion you think they're feeling. You might say, "It sounds like you're concerned about the cost," or "It seems like you're under pressure." These labels validate their feelings and often lead to a breakthrough in the conversation. Together, mirroring and labeling build trust quickly and steer the negotiation toward your goals without confrontation. Another core tactic in the book is asking what Voss calls calibrated questions. These are open-ended questions that make the other person solve your problem for you. Instead of making demands, you ask things like, "How am I supposed to do that?" Or, "What's the biggest challenge you're facing right now?" These questions make people feel involved and respected. They also slow the conversation down and give you more control. Calibrated questions work because they're non-confrontational but still powerful. They show that you're trying to understand the situation, not bulldoze your way through it. This makes the other person more likely to open up and collaborate. Mastering this technique allows you to uncover hidden information, disarm difficult people, and keep your cool under pressure. Now, let's dive into a more structured approach, the Ackerman Model. This is a bargaining method used by FBI negotiators and refined by Chris Voss for everyday use. It's perfect when you're negotiating price, salary, or any deal involving numbers. Here's how it works. First, set your target price, your ideal outcome. Then, make an initial offer at 65% of that price. Follow it with raises to 85%, then 95%, and finally 100%, using empathy and calibrated questions at each step. Each offer should be accompanied by a reason and some flexibility, like adding odd numbers to your proposal or throwing in non-monetary items. Why does this work? Because it makes you look thoughtful and calculated, not aggressive. It's all about slowly anchoring your counterpart to your price point without confrontation. One of the sneakiest words in negotiation is the word fair. Chris Voss warns us that when someone says, "I just want what's fair," they're often using it as a manipulation tactic. It's a powerful word because no one wants to seem unfair. That's why it's often used to corner or pressure the other person into making concessions. Voss suggests being very alert when this word comes up. Instead of getting defensive, you can neutralize the situation by saying, "Of course I want to be fair too. Help me understand how you see this." This disarms the tactic and redirects the conversation into a cooperative tone. You can also use the word yourself to your advantage, especially early in a negotiation. Saying, "I want you to feel this is fair," can put your counterpart at ease. The key is knowing how and when to use emotionally charged words like fair to shift the negotiation dynamics in your favor without escalating tension. Effective communication isn't just about what you say, it's about how you say it. Chris Voss introduces the 7-38-55 rule, a concept from psychology that breaks down communication into 3 parts. 7% is the words we use, 38% is our tone of voice, and 55% is body language and facial expression. This tells us that nonverbal cues carry much more weight than we think. So, if you're only focused on the script, you might be missing what truly influences people. Voss recommends mastering your tone, specifically the late-night FM DJ voice. It's calm, confident, and slow. It soothes people and lowers their defenses. Combine that with active listening and open body language, and you'll become a powerful communicator. Whether you're on a sales call or resolving a conflict at home, your delivery can make or break the outcome. Deadlines are another classic pressure tactic used in negotiations. But Chris Voss teaches us something powerful. Deadlines are often fake or at least flexible. Most people use them to create a sense of urgency, hoping you'll cave in and agree to something you're not fully comfortable with. Don't fall for it. Instead, ask questions like, what happens if we don't finish by then? Or where's that deadline coming from? These calibrated questions can reveal how real the time limit is. Also, don't let your own internal deadlines force you into bad deals. Be patient. The person who can wait longer often holds the upper hand. Time pressure can cloud your judgment and lead to costly mistakes. Instead, take a breath, clarify the facts, and negotiate with your long-term goals in mind. Don't let a ticking clock push you into a corner. One of the most brilliant strategies in this book is giving your counterpart the illusion of control. People naturally resist being told what to do, so instead of directing, you guide them by letting them feel like they're in charge. This is where those calibrated questions come back into play, asking things like, how would you like to move forward? Or what do you see as the next step? Encourages them to share ideas while also moving the negotiation in the direction you want. It's a psychological trick that puts their guard down. They're more likely to cooperate because they feel ownership over the process. You steer without commanding. This is crucial not only in business, but in personal relationships too. The goal is always the same: influence without control. One of the most strategic parts of negotiation is anchoring, the act of setting the first number or offer that frames the conversation. Chris Voss warns that if you let the other side anchor first, you're playing catch-up. But if you anchor first with a strong, confident offer, you can shape their perception of what's fair or possible. For example, if you're selling a service worth $1,000, you might start the conversation by referencing projects that go for $1,500 to set that as the reference point. Then your $1,000 price feels reasonable. Anchoring isn't about deception. It's about managing expectations. But be careful. The way you present your anchor, your tone, timing, and confidence matters just as much as the number itself. And always be prepared to justify your offer. Done right, anchoring bends reality and leads to better deals. There's a moment in every successful negotiation where your counterpart says, "That's right." And that, Chris Voss says, is your green light. "That's right" is more powerful than "you're right" because it shows they truly believe you understand them. When someone says "you're right," they may just be trying to end the conversation. But when they say "that's right," it means you've hit a nerve. You've expressed their perspective so clearly that they feel validated. To get to this moment, you must listen deeply, summarize their concerns accurately, and reflect them back without bias. It might sound like you're feeling like this deal is risky, and you're worried it might affect your bottom line. When they say, "That's right," you've built a bridge of trust. This is the point where real progress happens. Mastering the art of getting to "that's right" can unlock doors in even the toughest negotiation. Never Split the Difference isn't just a book about negotiation. It's a manual for navigating human behavior. Chris Voss shows us that negotiation isn't about arguing or overpowering. It's about listening, connecting, and asking the right questions. These skills don't just help in business, they apply in every part of life, with coworkers, clients, family members, and even strangers. If there's one thing to take away, it's this: you can be kind and assertive, empathetic and strategic. You can walk into any conversation with the confidence that you can guide it in a better direction. So next time you face a difficult conversation, don't back down and don't split the difference. Use the tools you've learned here and take the lead. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. It really helps more people find this content. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more videos just like this. Make sure to hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. And if you think someone else would benefit from this message, please share it with them. It might make their day. Check the links in the description to get your book copy and other useful resources. Your support means the world to us. Let's grow this community together. See you in the next video.